Now, let me tell you how these operations will be run. Just if you're curious, a peek behind the curtain saying what happens. Well, let's say it's a local county sheriff's office that runs this. They'll rent a hotel in a kind of a, not the worst part of town, but in a lower end part of town. So they're not going to rent a suite of the JW Marriott. So maybe if you're meeting a girl at the JW Marriott, she's got the penthouse, maybe it's legit, maybe not. But if they want to meet at the Days, and I'm not knocking a hotel chain, right? But if they want to meet at an old Roadway Inn, a Days Inn, old Howard Johnson, in a not so great area of town, it's really sketchy. I mean, it's just really, and even if it's not law enforcement, what are the odds you're going to get robbed? And what are the odds you're going to roll into this hotel room and get shook down or robbed? I mean, it's the risk you're putting yourself into is extraordinarily high. And so what they'll do is they'll rent this hotel room, and they'll take the floor, and they'll rent the rooms next to them. They'll set up hidden cameras. There'll be hidden camera in the ceiling. There'll be hidden cameras all over the room, and it'll be wired for sound. They will have a undercover law enforcement agent. It's typically a female if you're going to meet a female, which is typically the way these operations work. And you'll text them and say, hey, are you down to whatever you're down to do? They'll do an exchange over text message, and they will get you to confirm the services for the money on text message. And why do they do that? Because they're going to use that as evidence to show that you had a contractual deal, that you were going to pay money for sex. So they will have a confirmation on text message. And when you get there, they're going to seize your phone. So you're going to lose your phone out of all this too. Then they're going to give you a location. They're going to make sure you have money. They're going to want cash. The cops usually don't want Zelle. They don't want Cash App. I've seen the Cash App before, but they usually want cash. They'll ask you to bring cash, and they'll give you a meeting at room 203 at the Days Inn on Southdale, Mabry, wherever that happens to be. That's a Tampa address, but it can be anywhere in the world. You'll get to the hotel, and they'll track you. There'll be cameras set up as you go up to the location. You'll knock on the door of the hotel room. You'll open the door, and usually the undercover agent will be the female. They'll be dressed. They usually say, oh, hey, baby, how are you? And they usually come and give you a hug. Now, why are they giving you a hug? It's a frisk. They're patting you down to make sure that you don't have any weapons. So I see it over and over and over again. Oh, they gave me a hug. I thought it was legit. No, it's a highly skilled agent who's undercover, acting in a shallow undercover operation, and they're actually checking you for weapons. They can't do a full pat down, but they're just checking. And so they will do that. Once they know that you don't have weapons, if you show up armed, like you're probably not going to get in the door, you're probably going to go down right from there because of officer safety. Then they're going to ask you to go into the room. She'll probably go by the bed. There'll be a nightstand there. Think of your old school hotel or motel room. And then she'll sit and say, hey, we agreed to $120 to have sex. And they won't probably, that's not the terms they're going to use, right? But we agreed to $120 for whatever it happens to be. Is that still what you want, baby? Yeah, it is. Did you bring the money? Yeah, here's my $100, right? And they'll say, oh yeah, put it on the table. And it's like, do you want anything else, baby? You want me to do this, baby? This is the price. And they'll get you to agree that you're going to pay money for sexual services. And they're not doing that because they want to confirm your purchase. That wasn't a venti soy chai latte double pump with 2 shots of caramel. Just to make sure. They're not making sure they get your order correct. They want to make sure that they have it on video and on text that you traded your money for services, or that was your intent. This is always going to be an attempt charge because there is no actual prostitute. This is the police officer. Okay, so you have that. Once that happens, you take the money out, then it's going to be, get on the floor. And it's going to be the agents running in, and you're going to get zip tied, and your life's going to go downhill from there. Okay, and then the interesting thing is, a lot of these operations, they're running a lot of Johns through them, right? And so what you'll see is they'll zip tie you, they'll pat you down, do a full search, take your phone. Your phone's probably gone because they're going to seize that as evidence and an instrumentality of the crime. They're going to take you down to, often it's a paddy wagon. They'll have like the old school paddy wagon where you sit in the back. And then you're going to be, if you're the first one on scene, you're going to be in the paddy wagon by yourself thinking, oh yeah, I guess I'm the only one who got caught up in this. Or maybe you're the third or fourth. They just keep you in the paddy wagon with all the other people that got caught up in this. And talk about an awkward ride. You can be sitting in there for 3, 4, 5 hours as they're running this op. And you're like, oh, here's another one. Oh, hey, my name's Bill. What's your name? You know what I mean? And so now you're sitting in a paddy wagon in the back of really a paddy wagon, probably handcuffed or flexi-cuffed, usually flexi-cuffed, sitting there with your legs flexi-cuffed, your hands flexi-cuffed, you and your 5 new best friends who are all going down to the jail together, and while you're waiting to get booked. and then they'll take you in, they'll book you, process you. You can bond out. If it's state court, usually you can bond out county, and then you get to tell whoever it is what happened, and the misery really begins from there. That's the way these operations work. Then the district attorney will usually charge these. These may be misdemeanors. These are super low priority on the prosecutors on the state court side. Really low. It gets more law enforcement that's driving it because they want to lower the traffic to these sites. And so, they may drop your case. It may get dismissed. You may get a deferral. There's a veterans court. There's all sorts of ways that this will probably be adjudicated. So you're not going to probably do much jail time for this. But that's not the issue. If you're in the military, it's all of the collateral consequences that come of it from your position in the military. And so even if you get a deferral or a DAG, or every state and county has different ways these are handled, or even if it's dismissed, your military career is going to be in a tailspin very, very quickly. If you're a military service member and you've been caught up in one of these list crawler prostitution sting operations, don't just take the first guilty plea or whatever they throw at you. These cases can absolutely be won, and you can have your circumstances mitigated so your career isn't destroyed. I'm happy to talk you through it. You can get on my calendar at www.bileckilawgroup.com or call me at 813-669-3500.